Press conference today. My name is Adam Andrzejewski, chairman of For the Good of Illinois PAC. I'm happy to announce today that Vince Romano signed our Save Illinois Taxpayers pledge. Our pledge has three parts. The first part of the pledge is to freeze property taxes for the next 3 years. And this is important because over the last 3 to 4 years, property values have fallen, yet we've been faced as property taxpayers with an ever-increasing property tax bill, and that is unfair. Property taxpayers need a timeout to catch their breath and catch up, and one of the pieces of evidence of that is Illinois leads the country in foreclosures. So we beat California and Florida and Arizona and Nevada. We lead the country in foreclosures. We're literally being taxed out of our homes. They are taxing us to death. Yet what is the Democratic plan on the pensions? No pension reform, only pension shift to your property tax bill. So $83 million of state pension liability will now come to your property tax bill all across Illinois. So before the shift, we need to protect the property taxpayers, we need to freeze property taxes, and then eliminate all loopholes so we don't face an ever-escalating property tax bill. The second part of our plan, Save Illinois Taxpayers Pledge, is to adversarially forensic audit every dime of state and local spending. And I think after the city taxpayers of Dixon, Illinois, a town of 18,000 people, after their city treasurer was indicted for stealing $53 million, I think this is a settled point across Illinois. Audits will yield billions of dollars worth of savings for Illinois taxpayers and change the culture of Illinois. We hired a national leading pollster from McLaughlin & Associates to test this point all across Illinois, and the people of Illinois are with us. 94% of people that are going to vote in the November 6th election believe that waste mismanagement or fraud is involved when government at all levels spends a tax dollar, and 87% of people want to move beyond the pro forma regular auditing, the rubber stamp auditing here in the state, for an aggressive adversarial forensic audit that targets the corrupt practices and ends those practices. Here's the third point of our Save Illinois Taxpayers Pledge, and that is to repeal the 67% Democratic income tax hike. It used to be among the states that levied an income tax that Illinois had a competitive advantage. Among those states that charged an income tax, we had a relatively reasonable income tax rate. And that ended in the middle of the night about 2 years ago when the Democrats hiked their taxes by 67%. And now our corporate income tax rate is one of the highest in the world. In fact, our rate exceeds Russia. And the Democrats' plan is to do it again, to hike our income taxes again, another $2 to $8.5 billion income tax hike is coming down the pike. So this is the Save Illinois Taxpayers Pledge. We're proud to announce that every single Republican running in the House seats, every single one of them running in the contested races against Michael Madigan's Democrats, are running on our pledge, and we're proud to announce the signature and participation of Vince Romano on that pledge today. Vince, thank you, and Godspeed to your campaign against Lou Lang.
Thank you very much. I'm proud to be on board with your plan and to help the taxpayers of Illinois. Thank you.
Sure.
I'm here to release some information from my campaign. It seems on September 20th of this year, in front of the Tribune editorial board, Lou Lang was questioned about my assertions that he worked for the largest workman's comp firm in the state. Lang at first said in that interview, quote, unquote, "I at one time worked for Goldberg, Weissman, and Cairo." Then, as Ms. McCleary questioned him further and asked, quote unquote, "Are you still part of that firm?" To which Lou Lang had a stuttering response of, I am of counsel to them and another firm. In reality, we have found that he is of counsel to no less than 3 firms. In an effort to be transparent to the citizens of the state of Illinois, and to have Lou Lang, who is part of the most corrupt political organization in the country, the Chicago Machine, be transparent also, I said in front of the Tribune editorial board, I'm prepared to release 2 years' tax returns. Are you, Lou? In response, he said, quote, I am happy to release my tax returns. He never released his tax returns. Then, on the Jeff Berkowitz show, on October 14th, over 3 weeks later, Lang was asked again about his tax returns and why he hasn't released as he promised. This led for more questions to be asked. Why hasn't Lang released his tax returns? What is he hiding? What is he hiding from the people of Illinois? This led us to look into his economic disclosures, which we have found many discrepancies and outright omissions. And now I will turn this over to John Zahm, our campaign manager, who has looked into the issues at hand.
Thank you, Vince. I have reviewed the economic interest disclosures of Representative Lang from 1987, when he first was appointed to office, through the present, the 2012 disclosure. The penalties are serious for non-compliance and false reporting of economic interest. Let me read from the statement that one has to sign. Quote, I understand that the penalty for willfully filing a false or incomplete statement shall be a fine not to exceed $1,000 or imprisonment in a penal institution other than the penitentiary not to exceed 1 year or both, fine and imprisonment. And this comes from the Illinois Government Ethics Act, 5 ILCS 420. The code allows for fines in prison. How is it that Lang disclosed his outside legal employment from 2004 to 2008, but not from 2009 to 2012, or for much of the period between 87 and 03? The work of Adam Andrzejewski and For the Good of Illinois found that State Representative Roger Eddy, before he resigned under heavy pressure, had similar problems with his economic interest disclosure forms. This situation is actually worse because Eddy's education job was more publicly known than the law firm work that Lang performs. In addition, Lang's outside economic interests can definitely lead, like Eddy's, to giving advantage to employers at the expense of taxpayers. Further, Lang is inconsistent and unclear with his disclosure of financial relationships with lobbyists. While he admits to vague financial relationships with Theodore J. Brunsvold, Brian F. Hines, and Frank J. Cortese in 2004 and 2005, he stops disclosing those relationships in 2006. Lang also fails to disclose his close relationship with the lobbyist for the Illinois Small Loan Association, which is the payday loan industry, for whom he just carried a big bill, and the Illinois Harness Horsemen's Association. That person's name is Steve Brubaker, who's in charge of both of those organizations. This is a relationship that by information and belief has been close for more than 10 years, and it's not disclosed even once. Lang stated at the Chicago Tribune editorial board interview that he is still of counsel at the Goldberg Cairo firm. Why did he fail to disclose this economic interest? These serious ethical lapses and violations of ethics laws should result in the resignation or the defeat by the voters of Lou Lang. These economic interest disclosure statements I have with me today, I'll share with people who'd like to see them. I also have them on the internet. I can email to anybody who would like to see them. Representative Lang had the live link to his Goldman, Weissman, Cairo work blocked in recent days, but I did capture it on September 28th, and I have a copy of that. In that paragraph, he says, to quote directly from it, Lou is most proud of the fact that he is associated with a law firm that shares his commitment to working men and women and to organized labor. He is also proud of his efforts in helping the law firm maintain its excellent ties to the lawmakers in Springfield. So it's very clear why he's on that law firm of counsel. It says right here in his own biography, because of his excellent ties to lawmakers, and that's what's called a conflict of interest, folks. You know, and that's why it needs to be disclosed on these conflict of interest economic disclosure forms. I also have information about work he's done for the Odelson Stirk law firm. Some of you may remember Bert Odelson, one of the most famous election law attorneys in possibly Chicago history. He's done work for mayors of Chicago and others. Certainly good, well-connected firm to be part of. He's also involved with a law firm called Query. I've got information on that as well. So clearly, you know, we have a lack of disclosure, and we're looking for the outrage to come as we publicize this. Thank you.